Hello and welcome to the 9th International Festival of Media hosted and curated by the Faculty of Media and Social Sciences at Jagran Lake City University. This is Tamanna, your host in conversation with Noopur Tiwari. Hello ma'am.
Hi.
She has worked with leading platforms like CNIBN and National Geographic Channel and is now shaping youngest minds across India through her work in visual communication, emotional intelligence and inclusive learning. So ma'am, hi again.
Hi.
How are you feeling visiting this campus again after so long?
Well, it's always nostalgic for me because I taught here for 7 years.
Yeah.
So whenever I come back, there's a feeling of just coming back home. So
Okay.
it was amazing.
I have a question for you. If every student could build just one habit during college that could shape their future, what would it be, according to your experience?
Um, so I'm just going to be talking of emotional intelligence here. So I would say adaptability and resilience is something that everybody needs to have in today's world, whether it's a student, whether it's a professional, because we're really dealing with three things. It's social mastery, self-mastery, and self-motivation. And in times of war and crazy things happening around us where life is not predictable anymore. I think resilience and staying grounded is going to take us forward.
So, if we are talking about self motivation, so our theme is obviously AI. So, let's connect getting lethargic from AI and moving towards self motivation. How does it goes parallel?
So AI is like your assistant, right?
Yeah.
It's somebody who does the job faster, perhaps not the best, but
Yeah.
faster. And it's just an assistant, and you don't have to really immerse yourself into the screen all the time. You have to have activities where you do a digital detox, you get out in the nature, and nature is the blueprint of everything. So we're saying AI, but I always encourage my students to go out in the nature because nature is the best inspiration ever. So
All right. So, as journalism students, what do you prefer? Or actually, let me resentence it. How do you think that nature can help us out?
So nature has everything. It has the golden ratio, right, which is the blueprint of life. Then looking at all the design principles from textures
Yeah.
to colors, symmetry, asymmetry. Everything is there in nature. You look at a flower, you look at a tree, you look at a bark, you look at sea, you look at the different principles of design within water. You have the ripple effect, which talks of flowing balance. You look at crystals and you look at crystalline balance. So everything is connected to nature, and the more you sort of get out of the screen and look at everything that God has made and just stay in that silence of nature, you will feel all the inspiration coming back to you. But ultimately, we're all connected to the source, right? So it works.
I'm fascinated how beautifully you explained it all. Actually, are you a nature lover?
Yes, I am.
What do you do in your free time if it's related to nature?
In my free time, I have my dogs to look after.
Wow.
But if I still have more free time, I would just go and sketch somewhere. So I take a book. I still have some sketches here. So I just sit down and sketch people or whatever's going on in my mind. So I do a lot of journaling and sketching.
Let's carry on with that. So, it would be a great pleasure to learn about your journey. What, how you proceeded towards your career, and what were the when you felt like that this is the dead end, and you carry forwarded, something like that.
Okay, so one thing about designers is that all of us were taught to be adaptable. So they said that tools can change, techniques can change, things can get overwhelming, but your foundation stays intact, and your foundation is built on a lot of values which make you the way you are, right? So integrity, honesty, standing for what you think is right, and having that strength to face the world, whether or not you're correct, but you have to stand your ground somewhere. So those are the values we were taught as designers. Design thinking, systems thinking, all these things talk of that process, right? And as a designer, that process, when you learn it, when you learn it in class, you imbibe it as a professional or as a person generally. So how I interact with you or how I interact with my family everything has that little component in it.
Okay.
So yes, that's my journey started as a student of design in visual communications at NID Ahmedabad,
Yeah.
and then my first job was with National Geographic on air promotions. And there I learned how to make promos and all kinds of different things which go on into production and broadcast industry. Post that I worked for lifestyle shows and travel shows, health shows within CNN, IBN, features team. So I wasn't working for news, I was working for features. That's a different type of a thing wherein you don't have sort of that speed that news has to be delivered. You get your own time to craft your own stories. So features a more laid back sort of a place to be. And then again, monotony is something that I hate. So when it got monotonous, when I sort of aced the game, when I was doing 5 different shows in a week and I aced them all, I said, I'm really good at it. Now what else do I need to learn from it? That is when I went to Chicago. I learned a little bit of digital cinema. And then I came back to India. Then I had my child. Then I decided to teach. And that's why my academic career began, because teaching gave me more time for myself to be given to my family. And then production wasn't giving me that much time. So then I moved to teaching. I taught children in NIFT and everywhere else, pan India. I also taught here in Jagran Lakes at University within the Department of Media and Communication. Led the design school for some time. And then I moved to UID in Karnavati University, where I'm teaching visual communications. And currently I'm pursuing my PhD in psychology.
Oh my god, it sounds like you have filled your rainbow with every color possible. That's so fascinating again. So, I have again another question. Looking back at your career from CNN, IBN to International Geographic Channel, what was some of the biggest struggles you faced early on your path of journey?
Struggles, well, when you come from a national school like the National Institute of Design,
Yeah.
you think life is going to be a certain way. You think you're a designer. When you get out in the industry, you have these different notions about how a designer should be handled by the industry and everything else. But ultimately, the ultimate truth is that you have to slog and you have to learn on the ground. So the practical thing, the practical training that you get is on the ground, is in the industry, is when you actually face your clients and when you actually go out in the world to work. That you don't get in the college. You might get some simulations here and there, but once you actually get out, you learn a lot, you slog a lot, and sometimes you're demotivated because somebody is doing better, somebody is doing more, and you're not getting the credit, somebody else is doing that. But everything is a learning process. Everything is what you've done is your experience. It stays with you. And that what makes you grow as a person eventually. So I take in my stride. I mean, whatever I've learned from the industry, that goes in my brain, I understand, and I've learned so much from it. And though there were moments sometimes in life where you said, what am I doing? Or, should I be doing this? Well, I think everybody goes through those moments. But then somewhere the whole idea of adaptability and resilience and sticking what your gut feeling says to you sort of helps.
All right, so let's move along with the AI theme again. So, I have this kind of a tricky and a fun question. So, right now we all are thinking we are moving towards World War III or the wartime, right? So, what if you collaborate AI with the war? As if I personally think with the incoming of AI now in this generation, earlier people were not aware of what dark web is, how to misuse all that stuff. Now with the wartime and plus the emerging of AI and people younger than me, what, 12, 13, they are pros within AI. There are videos, they just have to pay something or they don't, and they can connect totally towards dark web. Is it a spoiler or they can help out with that? What do you think with the ratio of the country's population?
Well, see, there's always been a yin and yang in life.
Yeah.
So there's always been darkness, there's always been light.
Yeah.
What do you choose by the end of the day stays with you. right? So it's there. You have tools and techniques and crazy things. There were guns yesterday, there are guns today, you know. Today you have technology, you know, which could be used like a weapon.
Yeah.
And yesterday you had a weapon, right? So it depends, you know, those contexts keep changing. But ultimately, everything, including technology, mirrors who you are. And AI will mirror you how you are intrinsically, right? So if I'm a bad person from inside, you know, my AI is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's going to give me, and it's going to, you know, direct me to all bad things, or if there's no bad or good, to the things that I want it to direct me. So because AI is ultimately mirroring me, and there's something called AI psychophancy. AI tries to, you know, just please the user.
Yeah.
So you want to see more of drama, and you want to see more of war, or you want to see more of breakups, or you want to see more of, you know, trauma. It's going to show you that. Then you want to see more of happiness, you want to see more of positivity and light, it's going to show you that. So you pick a side, you choose, and you balance it out.
Okay. So, while having this conversation, you have made me believe that you are the positive person. You're a positive person in the room. I think among all, you are the one who's at that level. So, let me. You just mentioned in your earlier answer that as students, when we go out in the world, we have to face a lot of drama and disappointments, that people will not give you enough credits and I'll get discouraged enough. So what can you suggest us students, that how can we go through past that stage and move along?
So stay resilient. Don't look for instant rewards, right? Sometimes the most boring things that you learn and do reward you much later in life, right? For instance, I'll tell you, I used to hate learning Excel, right? That's
So
something I
do
used to
I.
hate. I hate it completely, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, there was a time I used to hate learning biology. Right? I got good marks, but there was a time I still hated. Like, क्यों पढ़ रही हूँ मैं? You know, why am I doing this? I'm going to get into design, or I'm going to do something different. Why am I doing this? But then everything comes full circle. There was a time when I produced a show which was related to biology, which had like an entire episodics based on 10th grade bio, and I could do it because I'd aced it myself. Similarly, with Excel sheets, you know, I was working in CNN and in National Geographic, where certain things that you need to give to the programming need to be done on an Excel sheet, and there's no other escaping it because everyone's doing the job. So I did not learn it on the job, but because of my training, I could sort of do it. Not in the best way, and not that I was very happy, but I learned it. And then when I jumped into academics, it was something that I'd already learned. So I wasn't really facing a lot of difficulty for that. So, yeah, stay resilient. Don't think everything that you learn is going to help you some or the other day. So nothing goes waste.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing, is there anything you want to say to encourage our students?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I think stay grounded, be humble in life, learn as much as possible. You know, be like a sponge in the room. So learn different things, but always keep your light shining. Don't think that all the troubles in the world belong to you, right? Don't think that if one thing goes wrong, everything's going to go wrong. Don't think like that, you know. There have been wars in the past, there have been disappointments in the past, there have been unpredictable circumstances in the past. So you're not the only human being who's facing this for the first time in life, right? So if you are strong from within, see, everything's within, right? It's your willpower, it's what you are within. Then you're going to navigate through life easily. If you're looking for external validation, then of course, there's going to be problems.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for blooming this room with your kind and inspirational words.
My pleasure.
It was my pleasure to have a conversation with you. And
Same.
for such content and conversations, keep watching Lake City Live.